Hello, everyone listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube. Today we've got another podcast episode of the NRG Insights, where we speak to successful broker owners and successful brokers just in regards to what they're doing well, what's not working, what is working, and just kind of get their insights into the market, really. So today I've got Gindy Mathoon from Create Finance. So thanks for joining me, Gindy.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you for having me on.
Because we just start, talk to me about your financial services journey and how you've come to grow the business that is Create Finance.
Gosh, where do I start? Okay, so I've been in the industry now for 15 years. I know I don't.
You look brand new, mate. I don't know what you've got. Good moisturiser.
It must be this screen filter I've got on it, mate. So I started off at L&C, working in Bath, back in 2008. Spent a couple of years there. Moved back up north, back to Derby, and then back in 2014, took a bit of a gap. Then in 2014, I went back into the industry, worked for a small firm, pretty much worked every day for 8 months. It was tough times financially for me, so I knew I had to make some changes in life. And then a year and a half later, myself and a couple of brokers that were working there set up Create Finance. One day we just thought, we want to earn more money. I think that's why everyone sets up a new business. And we did. And then the aim really was just to probably just work on our own devices, if I'm honest, be left to our own selves, take more of the commissions, monies at the end of the month. But because we were doing things well, we had loads of people that wanted to come and work for us. So at our height, just before pandemic, we grew to 33 brokers. Wow. We had...
How quickly was that? How quickly did you go from 3 to 33? Was that quite a big... Was it...
It was over the course of, I'd probably say, 4 years, 3.5 to 4 years. And then we had 16 support staff as well. So, almost every day became HR day.
Yeah. Well, let's actually talk about that. That's relevant to people because when you said at the beginning, you set up a business because you want to earn more money, you're obviously good brokers, that kind of thing. But I don't think people appreciate if they haven't done it. If you grow a business, you don't tend to do the thing you're really good. You don't get to do the thing you're really good at continuously. So has that been an issue for you, or is that just part of growing a business? How did you take it?
Definitely. So one thing you've got to be wary of when you are setting up a business, it's if you do want to have staff, ultimately, just because you're good at sales doesn't mean that you're a good manager at all. So you need to step up your game on management. But not only that, there's obviously human resources, there's marketing as well. There's various aspects that you need to do. So I'm known as somebody that wears a lot of hats. I won't say I do everything 100% well at all. I probably wouldn't say I do things 70% well at times. I'm very, very lucky that I've got a really, really good support network at the moment. Yeah. And then the stuff I'm not so great at, the team can take on, and I tend to focus on the stuff that I'm really, really good at.
That is a really interesting point. Like, you can't be amazing at everything. It's a tough gig, but it is about who you surround yourself with. Like you say, if you've got that support network, you can pick up the stuff. For me, it's admin, and I'm great at vision. Actually, putting that into steps, I've never really been able to achieve till I got operations manager. He said, "Look, you can talk for 3 hours, but I'll give you an action plan at the end of it," which is, which it was a game changer for us business-wise because I've suddenly got someone who can do the bits I can't.
Yeah, delegating is very, very hard. You've got to learn to delegate. If you do everything, you won't do the most important things at all, so you'll never grow the business. So learn when to delegate and use your powers and use your strengths where needed. I think for me, I've got a bit of a mindset shift, should I say. Probably say since I've become married, really, and my wife wants me to have more time with her. Gone are the days where I'm working 7 days per week. I try to cram everything out into 5 days per week, but I still work till late at night. I think we discussed this previously. Marcus, but
you still do Saturday mornings, you don't pretend she's got you completely getting the weekends off.
Exactly, but what I've done now is I learned to delegate, and I focus on what I call the £500 an hour jobs, effectively, which is within business and also servicing our clients as well.
It's a really good point there, and if anyone misses that, the £500 an hour ethos is that everything, know your worth. When you're at your peak flow of the thing you're amazing at, that's your pounds per hour. So anything under that, get rid of it, schedule it, or delegate it. There's no. Now, how did you do that? Actually, out of interest, how did you decide what you were going to delegate and who it goes to? What was the kind of the process behind that?
I think we've been having, as business owners, I've been very, very lucky in my 15 years. I've had some really good managers and support staff. So Mark Harrington at LNC is the LNC chief, used to be my manager as well.
Did he?
And he was great, and he taught me
Poncho
loads.
now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big boy now there, but shame that he supports Man United, if I'm honest. Yeah, I've had some really, really good managers. But even between when I left LNC, I worked at Lloyds Bank, and I had a great manager at Lloyds Bank as well. So I picked up loads of learnings from people. But I think after that, when you become a business owner, you don't have a manager anymore at all. There's no one telling you if you're doing the right things every single day. So myself and the directors got together and we thought about a year ago, guys, I think we need some coaching. I think let's not be afraid to ask for help. Almost let someone else assess if we're doing the right things every single day. So we stepped up and we've had business coaching since January this year.
Do you know what? Most of my growing clients, who, especially if they start, especially like 2-3 man band side of things, like don't wait until you're that size. They have elevated the speed of which they grow through getting a coach. Because we just don't know what we don't know, do we? We know how to sell a mortgage. We know roughly how to manage people. We've been managed. Leadership is something we're constantly learning. But actually, the fast track to being more successful is it's the accountability thing as well. But so obviously you've got business partners. So does that help in regards to accountability, or is there more of a clash, or how is it the difference between kind of working on your own and working with business partners?
I think, ultimately, because I like to consider myself as being a very, very nice person, and the group I work with are very nice as well.
Yeah.
You almost become friends. So when you are having a management meeting on a Monday morning and someone's not done what they should have a week or two ago, it's hard really to almost confront that person and tell them obviously where they're going wrong, because you get on so well with them. Mm-hmm. Since we've obviously had business coaching and roles and responsibilities have developed, we're not afraid now to have that tough conversation and point out if things aren't getting done at all, because
that's really important. Sorry,
it's business.
Yeah, I think that's really important as well. Just that having, it's really easy, right? So we write job specs for mortgage brokers, admin, power plants. We don't write job specs for ourselves. And it's crazy, because that's the first thing we did actually, because accountability wise, everyone knows what they're doing. Like, this is in your roles and responsibilities. You have to have that designated, and there's nothing wrong with rewriting a job spec when you're in the business, constantly looking at what your roles are and how everyone's developing and that kind of thing, because it's too easy to let things just go on and not. Also, you don't see the gaps, do you? Because you don't know who's dealing with what.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that we do have now, so our business coach every 2 weeks, but as management and leaders, we have our own KPIs as well. So I tend to head up the marketing side of the business now as well. So I've got to make a certain amount of content. We're working with a marketing executive at the moment, and I'm managing the marketing executive. I'd probably say they're almost managing me. Because I'm coming out with
it's that thing about not knowing what you don't know. If you've got a professional marketeer, we're all good on social media, but it's not. Understanding objectives and that kind of thing is they're driven very differently, or taught very differently, I suppose.
Exactly. What Carl, my co-director, he'll say to me, I'm the visionary. He'll say, I'll come out with 100 ideas, of which 90 I've not thought about at all until are really, really good. But Carl's good, because he'll look at the other 90 ideas and he'll digress them, and he'll think, that ain't going to work, but that may work if we do this. So we're a good mix.
Yeah, that is the magic of having a business partner, actually, because obviously we in ours it's very similar in regards to, let's just say as the operations manager, I will just go all day, this is great, this is good, this is an idea, and then you've got to have that kind of accountability, and you've got to be able to take feedback as well, because some of it is shit. It just seemed really good when I thought about it at 3 a.m. So it's it's about being able to action that stuff as well, isn't it? Like, some things are great, but is it feasible? And others are just not good.
Yeah, is it going to bankrupt us tomorrow? Probably will, but we'll have a good time doing it, yes.
yeah, but like you say, coaches, business partners, anything like that, just mentors, just anyone who can hold you accountable for the business is really important. And you obviously, like you said, you've seen that shift in since you've had it.
Definitely. I think we're fairly lucky at the moment because I think 10, 15 years ago, I suppose, the resources weren't available at all. But
Yeah,
if you look at now, there's so much self-help information available. Our business coach gets us to read a book a quarter, but essentially I've been reading a book a month.
yeah,
And what you'd learn from there, you're not going to learn, some books you won't agree with at all, some books you probably just think, oh, nothing there at all, but you'll pick up light bulb moments, and
yeah.
I've got a
I think that
notepad.
if you get through a whole book and you pick up one good thing, it's worth it, isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
always do in I read lots of books, but I always struggle to get to the end. It's like the last chapter ones. I'm like, I think I must have about 100 books where I just haven't finished because I've got what I needed out of it. I'm like, cool, I've got this, and then but I suppose you don't have to get to the end of every one.
Yeah, a little cheat is you can get like these books that are on Audible, you can condense down to 15 minutes now
Oh,
as
is that
well. So
Headway? Is it the app Headway where
that's
you?
it.
Yeah,
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 exactly. So,
yeah.
and it's just got the key light bulb moments. Um, interesting.
Yeah, no, really interesting actually. I've got Audible because I do. I need to actually go back to reading books as opposed to Audibles as well because Audible's great for time efficiency, but I don't think you pick up as much as when you're reading it or even getting both. You know, having a book and having the Audible on because I have Audible on a faster speed, so I'm getting through
Yeah,
it.
so do I. One and a half, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The issue with that is obviously everyone talks slow to me now because I'm so used to listening on 1.5. Then you take your headphones out, someone's talking to you at normal speed. You're like, you need to speed this up.
Yeah, I agree.
Talk to me about so where are you now in regards to brokers and support staff and that kind of thing? Because obviously, you know, it's a tough market. It's been
Yeah, so post pandemic, I suppose pandemic, we had to reshape the business
yeah,
once again. Pretty much every business had to get reshaped during the pandemic. So unfortunately, it was a nice thing to do. It's probably one of the toughest things we've had to do. I had to sit with our then operations manager, and then we had to look at redundancies. Unfortunately, um, when I came out of the consultation, I said to Carl, I don't want to ever do that again. That's probably the toughest
it's
day.
interesting to see in it because I don't think anyone really sees behind the curtain of like that is a horrible time for business owners. You don't employ anyone, you don't think you can make a difference to their life. So
Yeah.
it's even sacking someone is the same. Like, it's a tough gig. I think people think like you're not hardened to it. We're not taught to do that to someone. So I think it is like emotionally it hits you hard, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. But I think as a character, it built me
Yeah,
really, and then we kind of refocused and we hit the reset button on the business, if I'm honest. So then we had a nice shiny 3-floor office, and then we moved that down to just one room in an office
yeah.
across the other side of Derby City Centre. And then we started again and we grew the business once again. So as it stands today, I think we're on 21 advisors,
Amazing.
which is fine. And then we've got a protection advisor. We have 4 support staff, and I think we have 3 employed mortgage brokers as well. So we've got a mix of self-employed and
Yeah,
employed.
yeah.
But we've got 3 employed brokers
How does that
that
mix
come
out of
through.
interest? Because you are a bit. Are you if I mean you're in marketing as well. I mean we're all in marketing, aren't we? But you know you generate leads and that kind of thing. So how is that? Because we've had this discussion before in the past between the employed and self-employed, to the control and whether people, you know, the risk factor, that kind of thing. How have you gauged what's right for your business? Because it's going to be different for everyone.
Definitely. So I think one thing that happened pre-pandemic, it was amazing. Self-employed brokers, we had brokers come. So we're based in Derby, so
Yeah,
we'd have brokers coming from the north, from the south, travelling an hour and a half to get into the office.
yeah,
As soon as pandemic hit, obviously set up a nice shiny office in their bedroom or built a house of some sort. They didn't want to leave home at all. So we were
yeah,
getting
yeah.
all these inquiries coming through on the phone, constantly ringing. Wait a minute, there's no brokers around to take any of these inquiries. So we thought, wow, what can we do? Can't force the brokers to come into the office. Effectively, they're self-employed. That's absolutely fine. Ultimately, it's their own choice. So we looked at having just a few employed brokers that can work in the office and almost
Yeah.
take on the inquiries. And then, yeah, that's what we've got. So
There is
yeah,
that
that's
factor then that we discussed. It's that control fact, not control.
yeah,
It all sounds wrong saying control, but it is. Is in you've got to control your leads because you're producing. It costs you money to get
yeah.
them through the door. So self-employed don't. Well, that's not true. Don't tarnish everyone on the same brush, but it's much easier when guys are employed, isn't it? When you're the lead generator.
Definitely, you got almost leads on tap. You can obviously set certain KPIs and stronger KPIs as well. But from an employed individual, yes, if you're getting guaranteed inquiries every single day, and your job is just to speak to the client and obviously look to convert it, it's great. Good job security for them as well.
Yeah, and they know what they convert at roughly, don't they? And you know what sort of kind of leads are coming into. It becomes more of a machine. I think self-employed, you kind of lose some of the cogs of the machine, if we're using that metaphor still.
Yeah.
But it does work. It works for both. It's good to have the other model as well.
Definitely. I think with the self-employed guys that we've got, because we've managed to retain it for a long while, they built up a successful client bank, which others carry on servicing, and they'll obviously pick up referrals and stuff
Yeah.
as well. So I kind of miss the self-employed brokers, if I'm honest, because gone from like seeing him like once a week or twice a week to once a quarter. Then
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
in for a sales meeting last week, and it was like a lot of hugs, let's just say.
Yeah. So how do you keep on top of that then? If you're not seeing them that much, how does it work when they're self-employed like that? Do they use your leads as well, or they do a bit of both, or is that?
Yeah, everything. So we provide leads to all of our brokers. Ultimately, it's their choice if they want them or not. A lot of them, like I said, have a good client bank
Yeah.
themselves.
And obviously they do
Um,
make more money out of their own leads, don't they? To be honest, that's why you go self-employed.
exactly. And then we've got WhatsApp group, which is active and pretty much popping every single day. Some mortgage stuff in there. A lot of it's non-mortgage related stuff.
Wish
As
you
with
could
most of
separate
them,
those groups sometimes, because otherwise there's
yeah.
400 non-related.
Exactly. A lot of it's mortgage related stuff. So obviously I probably step out sometimes. But
Yeah,
yeah, they will. We tend to have like quarterly meetings. Andy, who's our sales manager, he will check in with a lot of the brokers. I will
yeah,
check in with a lot of the brokers as well. Because I'm still actively advising myself, I tend to get regular phone calls from brokers just with some help and
yeah.
repositioning on some complex cases they may be dealing with. And then at that time, we'll just check in, just make sure they're okay, so if they need any help and support. They have admin support. Well, the majority of them have admin support, so we tend to hear it from the administrators
Yeah.
if they're having any troubles of some sort, and then we'll just check in.
Let's touch on that actually, because it is an interesting point, and we have had that, and we probably have had differences of opinion on it, but there's no right or right answer. But you're still a player manager with all those people. You still, and I completely understand your reasoning behind it. But let's talk about that as to why you still feel it's important to be on the market, because there's lots of managers who, I mean, it's a time thing, isn't it? Let's be honest. If you're managing that many people to do what you do and still jump on the phones basically is a tough gig. How do you manage that time between being a manager and being a player, and also what do you see was the benefit of still doing that?
So I think, yeah, you're right. There's no right or wrong answer on this. My opinion is going to be different to others, and I've known some successful brokers that have stepped out of brokering to lead their business. So, as mentioned previously, I think I'm quite blessed that I've got a good support
Yeah,
management team behind me. Also, at the same time, I have enough hours in the day, I believe,
yeah.
because I don't have children as of yet. Also, my wife goes home on a Wednesday morning, so she comes back on the Friday evening, which allows me to work 24 hours. Not
Oh,
quite
okay.
24 hours,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
longer, elongated hours. But I'd say at the moment, my working pattern is between 9 and 5, it's business, business, business. In between then, I'll take obviously some client calls, but a lot of it's focused around business, whether it's team meetings, business meetings, management meetings, meeting with my marketing executive.
yeah,
I've got a called mortgages coming in today at 1 o'clock to go through product listings for an hour or so. So I try and focus on the business, and the business comes first. The evenings will be dealing with my own clients, replying back to emails, submitting applications,
yeah.
suitability reports, and so forth. I'm quite
One
blessed.
one
I've
thing
got a
you
very,
touched on
very
then,
good.
and it's kind of part of it's a mindset thing, and part of that's really honest. Just going, I haven't got kids yet. I have got hours in the day, and it might resonate with a lot of people who have got children. But at the same time, you could also have the mindset of I'm now managing a team. I don't have time. So I do, as much as I do think you've given people a bit of an out, saying well, no kids. At the same time, you've made enough hours in the day. You're managing 20, 30 people. You are also doing it. So time is also a bit of a mindset issue.
Definitely, I think the power of delegation almost as well. So I'm a believer of having a real strong admin case management team.
Yeah.
So currently we've got 4 case managers. All 4 are absolutely excellent. I'd probably say they know probably more than some of the brokers,
I
if I'm
always think it's
honest.
funny that people scrimp on admin, like because you're a broker rather than an owner at the beginning, and that is it's a cost to the business. They don't see the benefit in. They're so far from a cost. They give you so much time back, which is invaluable.
Yeah, you can always make money, but one thing that you never get back is time.
Yeah,
So it's so important. So I have a really good case manager that I check in with every single morning, and so ahead of the game, and it allows me to carry on doing what I'm doing. Will I ever give up sales? So I think
there must be a
myself and
saturation
Carl,
point at some point, mustn't there? There has to be a
it will, and I think we talked with a couple of years ago, but I think advising is kind of in my blood.
yeah.
I love helping people. I love learning something new and putting it into practice, but I love being the best at what I do. Like,
Yeah.
I'll always strive to be number one on our leaderboards every single month.
It's so interesting because I speak to so many owners who one of the driving factors is they want to get off the phone now, but you still got the energy for it. It doesn't make sense to waste it.
Absolutely. I'm really passionate about finance. I think finance is almost the best thing for me because it's the only thing I'm good at,
Yeah.
if I'm honest. But they'll call me the fountain of knowledge, criteria king, I'll get called all sorts of stuff.
These aren't
In the office.
self-generated titles, are they? It's someone else's calling you.
Yeah, some of the stuff I can't probably say live on here, but I want to be that person. It makes me happy. I love dealing with the complex stuff. So, and also I think it allows me to inspire the guys as well, but also see the problems that the team's going through
Yeah.
on a daily basis. Because listen, the market's tough. Let's be honest. It's ever changing. There's so much volatility. Just because you were an advisor 10 years ago, then you dropped out of it and set up a business, doesn't mean the things are the same today.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got to
You've
be,
got that connection with your brokers. Like, I get it. I'm on the
yeah,
cold face.
yeah, absolutely. I can see firsthand the troubles that they're going through. So it allows us to change things
Yeah.
fairly quickly because we're effectively going through the same problems as well.
That does make sense. Like I said, I mean, when we talked about it, I know we talked about it a few weeks ago, and I said, "How do you stay on the phone?" And that was the one point that's really valid is that, someone else could probably take the leads and that kind of thing, but at the same time, it's not so much. It's not financial difference. I think it's more the fact that you've got this amazing connection with the guys when they go, "Look, this is tough," and you go, "I know, I did that last week. I'm doing it right now. I understand that. I get that. I've had the same client. This is the issue, and in this market." The client problems that you're having this year aren't the client problems you had last year. So you're right, that does make such a difference. Let's talk about, because we've obviously spoken about this in the past, just personally, but you kind of pivot. You had to pivot off of your kind of core product as well, and expand the business out to make sure that you're covering everything. It's just the nature of the way the market went. How easy was that, especially with your staff and that kind of thing? One, to kind of sell it to them, if you like, and two, to actually pivot and look at other aspects of the market and become experts in kind of in more fields. How was that?
Yeah, so I think when the business started 8 years ago, we were a specialist in adverse credit and complex income. So, you got CCJs, bankruptcies, defaults. We were kind of like your go-to people.
Yeah.
And there wasn't many that were doing it at that time then. So, the market's got plenty of them and some really successful and really good brokerages as well. I think when Liz Truss
Popped up everyone's Q4.
her right-hand man decided to meddle in the financial system last October, kind of knew what was coming really. It was going to be a tough 2023. So we looked at other areas where we could possibly think, right, where could we make sure the business is sustainable, and where can we carry on investing in the business? Because as business owners, myself and Carl don't take any money out of the business at all. We only take money out of the business from the advising that we do. But everything else is invested because we know that with continued investment, we can get to where we want to be, and we've
I
got
think
visions and values.
sorry to jump in, but that is a really good point. So I think too many people try and get rich really quickly by taking money out of your business. Obviously, we've all got to take a wage, and obviously, we want a nice life. But actually, if you genuinely want to build something that's important, you can't. You're not stripping it, and that's the same as like lowballing people, and being tight when it comes to lead generation, that kind of thing. You can't be about your salary, especially the first few years. It's got to be about what the business needs.
I think we've. I'll be honest. We have not taken an income from the business for 2 years
Yeah.
at all, and that's something that we've chosen to do.
Yeah.
We
Was that a conscious thing when you got together and said that this is it, or was it just the fact that you both bill as well, you both write business, and it didn't come
I
about,
think
or is it?
I think we both write business. We're comfortable. You know, I can still buy my black hoodies every quarter. Also, my work uniform, but also at the same time,
The
yeah,
Steve Jobs black hoodie. Steve Jobs are great by that. It's just the same thing every
yeah,
day.
exactly. Yeah, Steve Jobs and Steve Bartlett. I think it's important that we carry on investing in the business. Listen, business costs have been going up.
Mm.
Office costs increase. Electricity increases. Staff wants sweetened chocolates every day as well. The number of teas and coffees I drink go up every single day as well. So you're
I
constantly
think it's
buying
funny
them.
actually. You kind of when inflation happens, you like everyone needs that extra bit of money and that kind of thing. You don't really can take into consideration that we're not getting paid anymore. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It doesn't make you have to give it out, don't you? You have to kind of make sure everyone eats before you.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the most important thing for us. We will never ever make, I say never ever, the last thing we'll ever do is make a redundancy.
Yeah,
We can obviously cut back on certain costs. What me and Carl decided to do is just invest in ourselves, invest in a business coach to
yeah.
make us better people, I'd say. My wife says I'm such a more better person
Actually,
than I was.
I mean, if your
Uh,
wife says, or your wife compliments you, know it's a compliment.
Yeah, I don't think I was too bad anyway. It's just
Yeah,
my wife did
you
it for
don't know
me.
what you don't know. How would
Exactly.
you say when you say better? Like, I won't put words in your mouth. Like more rounded, or is it
Definitely,
more like? Well, you tell me. How does she mean?
definitely. I think from a emotional point of view, I think previously, I think I took everything to heart. Really,
Yeah,
really everything to heart, and I used to overthink a hell of a lot as well. But you can only control what you can control,
yeah. Do you know what? I
ultimately.
think that's
And
all of us, right? We go into business and we all of a sudden it's our baby and all that stuff. And actually, the second you take it away from being your baby, I hate that phrase now, by the way, because you don't sell your baby, and if your baby, you don't buy another one. But that's how we consider it at the beginning, and then when we start looking at it as this is a machine that I'm building, so people can love to come to work and earn good money, and I can earn off the back of it. It takes that personal, everything's much more data driven and less emotional in it, and then you make better decisions. In my eyes, it doesn't
I
it doesn't make sense
100%
to take
agree.
it apart.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. I think our business is fairly unique because we've got a real flat structure.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter what job you do, but your opinion matters. We sit amongst all the staff. We don't have our own offices at
do you
all.
think that's a thing of
A
the
lot of
past
people.
now? Do you think like the CEO sitting in his office behind the door? Do you think that's a thing of the past? Do you think that's just when we naturally, or just that it worked for you? And again, was that a conscious decision, or did you moved, you sat down, this is what we do?
I worked in corporate environments previously. Corporate's not for me at all.
Yeah.
Fairly slightly outspoken,
I've never met a
just
business
because.
owner where corporate was for them.
Exactly. Just because you've got a shiny office, nice comfy seat, doesn't make you a better person
Yeah.
than everyone else within your team at all. But I love getting amongst the staff and the team. You tend to get involved in Love Island conversations,
That
TikTok
would actually
videos.
sway me into getting my own office.
Yeah, and then everyone's watching on Netflix,
Yeah.
etc. But
But on the business side of things, they get to listen to you on the phone as well, right?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. So, and we get to listen to them
Yeah.
at the same time as well. So, I was one of the team members this morning do some core coaching. So, I had my sales coaching hat on this morning, and we'll do some core coaching this morning and give some feedback.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely works two ways.
So, and how important to that is you obviously in your management structure of many hats, making sure everyone's getting better is. kind of up there for everyone. How do you do that, and how has that been? How's that been for you over the years? Obviously, from
Yeah,
working from home as well, or pandemic wise.
yeah, absolutely. So it's hard to obviously for us to have call recording software elsewhere for all of our brokers. The thing that we can re-hone really is the key things to do
Yeah,
every single day. It's easier to, I suppose, control and to coach somebody that's coming in
yeah,
every single day, and it's all about development. Listen, I'm learning every single day as well. I'm I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at all. But I know if I 1% improvement every single day,
yeah.
I'm happy with that.
That is a kind of a time in the game thing as well, right? That's where you're more self aware because you've done it for a long time, so you can. I suppose that you had good managers as well. So, like you said, you were quite lucky with that in your early career. But you can really fast forward someone's career by giving a shit, can't you? Just by actually like, this is how good you can be. This is how good, and seeing it in people. So, essentially, if you're just leaving someone there to rot, which does happen a lot it happens a lot in businesses that I see that are constantly up and down, and some of those bigger guys that are lobbed to the back of estate agents and left to rot. It's a tough gig to be a broker on your own like that without that kind of mentorship.
Definitely, and also I think it comes down to because I've been in this industry for 15 years and because I'm still actively advising. Listen, I know how to do this job. Stick with me.
Yeah,
Follow these processes.
stick with me, kid.
Yeah, don't veer off the process at all and create your own process. Stick with this process. It bloody works.
Yeah. Do you think that's the most important thing about that process, like having it written down, understanding it? Because everyone wants to sell a certain different way, but the process
We've got
itself is the process.
yeah, exactly. We've got a 7 steps sale process.
Yeah.
Before you ask, no, you can't have it at all. And anyone listen to this, I will not accept any bribes either for the 7 steps process.
Everyone's got a price.
Either.
Or someone in your office. I don't need to ask you. I need to ask the least earning person. I don't ask the boss.
Yeah. Maybe one day I'll set up my own coaching program.
Consultancy.
Potentially.
Yeah.
If I decide.
It's good. Let's go back to that. So that 7-stage process. What is that? Just been refined over the years?
Yeah, it pretty much. So we've had almost like a script that you got to cover off. Every firm needs to have obviously almost a sales process, but we've got a script which is same. We've had the same script for 7-8 years, if I'm honest, and we just changed it.
Has that not made a difference when you move markets as well?
No, it's changed though when we move networks. We've obviously have to put the new network provider in there. But we've kind of re-honed it, but it's worked, it's compliant, and it works, and it gives the broker a basis to have that conversation, and it captures pretty much everything on that first call for the client.
And how, obviously, to build rapport, you have to kind of veer off script a little bit. How much leeway can they have? Because people sell differently. Like I'm an emotional person. Some people are very analytical. You've got to allow for that. But obviously, if it's a rigid process, how do you allow for their kind of personalities?
Definitely. So, although we've got set structures, scripts, as long as you're covering off what's on there, it's absolutely fine. Say it the way you should be.
Yeah.
But I always say to the person I gave feedback this morning, I remember 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Yeah.
So use these 2,
Yeah.
and less of that is the feedback that I gave.
Yeah.
Listen, we all want to talk. We all love talking. But sometimes we've got to know when to button it.
Mm-hmm. Listening is my thing I've had to work on more than anything else. Because I already think because I heard, and again, that's probably a time in the game thing when you're listening to someone's problem and you go, oh, no, I have solved this. But actually, going down a coaching point of view is you've got to let someone work it out for themselves as well. And you've got to be listening because you will miss something. And not, especially for us, like, I'm pretty sure mortgage brokers assume everyone wants the same thing when it comes to recruitment, but it's so different, and we've missed something just through the fact that we talk instead of listen. And it's a killer. But I think it's definitely a skill that's overlooked.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. It's so important. But yeah, I'll always say to the brokers, find out something interesting about the client.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what they do. And the conversation then becomes about that rather than the mortgage. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, guys, just bring it
Like
back
all we
into
ever
the
talk about is your love of pastries. I never talked about recruitment. It's the same thing.
100%. Yeah, from anyone listening and anyone wants to send me a gift, yeah, any pastries, I'm absolutely fine with that. Yeah, thank you.
Any mediums going past, sack those donuts off and get some pastries
Well, you're not allowed in the office unless you're bringing in donuts or cakes.
in.
Is the new rule, by the way.
Yeah, just started. Um,
Yeah.
that's all really useful actually. So let's go. I mean, I always ask everyone this: if you're starting out at the moment and you can give one bit of advice to either let's go new broker. What would it be?
So if you're new to industry
If you're
broker,
a new broker, sorry, not brokerage, and yeah, you're just starting out. What kind of advice could you give to someone who's just on the beginning of their journey?
I would definitely go and join a firm and ask about the training plan and development plan. It's such a fantastic industry to be in. If I'm honest, I can't see myself doing anything else. Sounds cliche and corny, but I'm doing my dream job at the moment. As well as obviously owning a business,
Yeah,
advising is my dream job. I can't see myself doing anything else. I actually do want to sell. I do want to rent out jet skis in Miami. I went to
yeah.
Miami
I mean,
last
there's
year.
dream
That
jobs
was
and
so,
there's dream jobs.
yeah, that was so much fun because you don't see anyone unhappy when they're renting out a jet ski in Miami. But you want to make sure you get the best start possible. So I've seen advisors enter the market over the last few years, but quickly leave the market because they've not had the right training and development. You want to make sure that you're getting the best development possible. So look at the team within, look at the leaders, ask about the progression,
Do you
and
know what,
don't be
that's so
afraid.
important because so many. Who looks at that when you're starting something up? Because the reason you've done your CMAP because someone sold you the fact they do CMAP and going around 100k, so they're all looking for that, right? Because that's what everyone was sold at the beginning. It's bullshit. But that's what they've been sold. So actually, that is a nugget because if you the most important thing is you're not going to be good at the beginning. So the only way you can do it is being developed and trained. But I suppose it's difficult when you first start because everyone preaches the wonderful world of we'll train you up and then you chuck to the back of an estate agent. Don't keep using that example, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, I'd always ask who's going to train you up is
Mm-hmm.
most important. Like, okay, is it if it's someone that was in the industry 10 years ago? I'd probably think twice.
Yeah,
If I'm honest about that, might be controversial.
yeah.
The market's different,
Do you know what that's
almost.
it's not on the same level, but we were looking at non-exec directors, and what we found was interesting. So again, it's a training development thing for us, and what was really interesting was that we didn't connect with a lot of them because they'd sold their businesses before things like social media. So actually, our whole business is driven by social media. So if
Yeah,
someone's training you,
every time I go on LinkedIn, you're there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you're a
it's
mortgage
not.
broker owner. It's intentional. I know that everyone thinks I'm always in front of them, but that is my one job is to get in
You're
front of
definitely paying to have your post boosted.
them. I honestly, can you have that done?
Maybe a niche somewhere.
I'm writing this
Hey,
down.
that's my business idea.
Yeah, yeah. Pat, I know you can boost on other things, but genuinely, I don't think you can on LinkedIn. But genuinely, it's the same for mortgage brokers. I think that's poignant. Find out your target market and aim everything at them. You know what I mean? It
Definitely.
just doesn't make sense for me to speak to other recruiters online. It doesn't make sense for
Yeah.
me to, be in front of every window cleaner. I need to speak to mortgage brokers, much the same as you need to speak to people who own mortgages. Let's talk about that actually. Your marketing, obviously. What do you think people are missing? Because I see so many cock ups in mortgages, much the same as recruitment, same as any business, where you're not aiming right. What do you see in what kind
I
of
think from a marketing point of view, I think too many people are wanting results after one post or one video, so they're almost asking for business straight away.
yeah,
I just think you viewers just get turned off. Comes across fairly desperate. You see it quite a bit. I think it's important to make sure that you're giving away. I don't give away. I don't mind giving away free information whatsoever. I tend to do that quite a bit on my socials.
you get it back, don't
I
you?
tend to do it. If a broker ever gives me a call, or another business owner gives me a call, I'm quite happy to have a conversation with them and give them away the information. Apart from our seven
Seven
secret
secrets.
sales
Just write that
process.
down. I'll call you in a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Don't get so desperate. I'll probably say.
Hmm.
Just
And
try
it's
and
easy to get caught up in it, isn't it? Especially because you do something and you want it. You know, we're especially
yeah,
the next generation. We're in this like instant gratification kind of world at the moment, aren't we? We want something now. Well, I've just paid for it.
yeah,
Whereas actually, all the best marketeers I speak to, it's about consistency and just timing it, just constantly doing the right things.
exactly. Do it every day, and the results will come.
Yeah, amazing. Good, good. Thank you very much for your time today, Gindy. I really appreciate it. And
Thank you very much for having me on.
no problem at all. Thank you to everyone listening on Spotify, YouTube, all of Gindy's social media and all of Creative Finance's information will be on the posts, the blogs, the YouTube, etc. So if you want to get hold of Gindy, get in touch. And like I said, if you've got any questions, you don't know him, how do they get in contact with you actually, Gindy? What's the best way to speak to you?
Um, Pretty much every single way possible.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, there's
Smoke Signal, Carrier
Instagram,
Pigeon,
yeah, MySpace.
Snapchat. You're not young enough for Snapchat. There's no way you're on there, are you?
Yeah, Snapchat.
Yeah,
Did you say?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not on Snapchat, mate.
Nah, it's
Yeah.
too old. Got it. But anything other than Snapchat, you can get on Gindy however you like. But like I said, thank you for your time today, mate. I appreciate it. And I will speak to you soon.
Cheers, Marcus.